There's a kind of pain that doesn't scream. It doesn't bleed. It doesn't show up in X-rays or hospital beds, but it's killing you. Slowly. You wake up tired, not just from sleep, but from the weight of pretending. You avoid people, not because you're antisocial, but because you're exhausted from hiding your real self. And when something good happens, you flinch. Because deep down, a voice whispers, "You don't deserve this." That voice, it's not life, it's not society, it's you, quietly hurting yourself. Welcome to Hidden Manipulators, the channel where we peel back the masks and shine light on the shadows that control us. If you've ever felt like you're your own worst enemy, this video is going to hit home. We're diving into the hidden ways we hurt ourselves without realizing it. Not because we're weak, but because pain became our language. If this speaks to you already, consider subscribing. Because here, we don't sugarcoat. We reveal. Chapter 1. The Silent Sabotage. How self-harm disguises itself. Self-destruction is a shapeshifter. It doesn't always wear the face of drama or disaster. Most of the time, it hides in your daily habits, the things that look ordinary to others. But deep down, you know they're not okay. It looks like staying in the wrong job, not because you're loyal, but because you think you don't deserve better. It's ignoring your dreams, because somewhere along the line, you learned that your dreams were unrealistic. Self-harm can look like overworking to the point of exhaustion, telling yourself you're just being responsible. It can sound like saying, "I'm fine," while silently breaking down. And it's not always loud. In fact, the most dangerous kind is silent. It builds up slowly, choice by choice, until one day you look at your life and realize you were the one tightening the chains around your own wrists. Chapter 2. Programming the Pain. Where it all starts. Most of us were programmed before we even knew what the word meant. We absorbed beliefs not from logic, but from survival, from the way we were treated, the love we did or didn't receive, and the rules we learned in our earliest relationships. Maybe you were told you were too emotional, or that your needs were inconvenient. So you learned to shrink yourself, to apologize for existing too loudly. Maybe you only got attention when you performed well. So you became addicted to achievement, not for joy, but for approval. That's not ambition. That's trauma in disguise. We learn early that some parts of us are lovable and others must be hidden. And so begins the split, the creation of a false self that fits what the world expects. And the real self? It stays locked in the basement of your mind, screaming. This isn't just a childhood issue. It's a lifelong pattern unless we break it. Because the mind doesn't forget what it learned to survive. It just keeps repeating it. Chapter 3. Emotional Muscle Memory. Why pain feels safe. Pain becomes a comfort zone. Not because it feels good, but because it feels familiar. Think about it. If you grew up in chaos, then calm feels foreign. If love came with conditions, then unconditional kindness feels suspicious. That's why when something good happens, your first instinct might be to ruin it. Not because you want to suffer, but because suffering feels safer. You've trained your nervous system to expect disappointment. So even peace feels like a threat. Your mind says, "Don't trust this. It won't last." This is what we call emotional muscle memory. You return to pain, not because you like it, but because it's the only language your body remembers fluently. And until you rewire that memory, you'll keep walking back into the fire, calling it home. Chapter 4. The Reward System. Society claps for your suffering. Here's a dark truth. The world often rewards the exact behaviors that are destroying you. Stay up all night working? You're dedicated. Ignore your mental health? You're strong. Put everyone else first? You're selfless. Society claps for burnout. It hands you trophies for breaking yourself to fit its mold. And you, desperate to be seen as worthy, keep performing. But the cost? It's your soul. You become a puppet for praise, addicted to approval. Every compliment you get for being so strong only digs the wound deeper. Because they don't see the nights you cry in silence. They don't see the weight you carry just to appear normal. And worst of all, you start clapping for your own suffering. You convince yourself it's noble to bleed quietly. It's not. It's lethal. Chapter 5. The Mask. Performing normal. While dying inside. You've become an actor, a master of disguise. You know exactly what smile to wear in front of your family. You know the right words to say at work. You know how to laugh on command. But inside, you're hollow. That mask you wear is cracking. Not because you want to take it off, but because it's suffocating you. The scariest part? You've worn it for so long that you're not even sure who you are without it. The real you feels like a stranger, forgotten, buried, and yet you keep performing, because being real feels too risky, too raw. What if people don't like the real you? What if you don't? But here's the truth. Pretending to be someone else just to be liked is the loneliest kind of existence. It's not connection. It's self-erasure. Chapter 6. Self-sabotage isn't weakness. It's self-defense. People say, you're sabotaging yourself, just try harder. But they don't understand. What looks like sabotage is often your nervous system protecting you from what it thinks is a threat. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's paralysis from perfectionism, fear of failure, or fear of success. Your mind whispers, if I don't try, I can't fail. Quitting too early? Maybe you were never taught persistence, or maybe you learned that staying too long leads to pain. Even when you reject love, it might be your trauma saying, this feels too good to be true. What you see as weakness is actually your body screaming, this isn't safe. Until you unlearn that language, you'll keep mistaking survival for sabotage. Chapter 7. The Path Out. Healing isn't pretty, it's brutal and beautiful. Healing starts where honesty begins, not with affirmations, but with rage, with grief, with sitting in front of the mirror and admitting, I don't want to live like this anymore. You have to go back. To the first moment someone made you feel unworthy. To the first time you believed pain was love. This is the hard part. Because it means revisiting memories that burned you. It means crying for the younger version of yourself who didn't know better, who thought being silent was the only way to survive. Healing is brutal. It rips away illusions. But in that rawness, something new is born. Clarity. And clarity leads to choice. The choice to speak, to rest, to stop apologizing for existing. It's not a straight line. But every time you choose truth over performance, you get closer to who you really are. Chapter 8. Final truth. You're hurting, but you're still here. You may be quietly hurting yourself, but you're also quietly surviving. And that means there's still hope. The fact that you're watching this right now, it means there's a voice in you that hasn't given up. A whisper saying, there must be more than this. And there is. You were not born to constantly battle yourself. You were meant to understand yourself, to nurture, to protect, to finally rest without guilt. Don't rush to fix everything overnight. Just promise yourself one thing. You won't abandon you. Not again. Because the world already did that once. It doesn't need to happen again. If this video made you feel seen, even a little, you're not alone. This channel is for people like you. People who want truth, not noise. Subscribe to Hidden Manipulators, because the most dangerous lies aren't out there. They're the ones we whisper to ourselves.